Recording. Okay, welcome to our November team call, and this will be the first of a ongoing monthly call that will generally be, I think, the first Monday of the month. So I just wanted to get the ball rolling. We won't have another one in December. We'll go to January and have these. And I spoke to Kelly. I think we're going to move the Fit and Balance team calls down to just one a month, so that you won't have like crazy amount of calls. So I'm really excited to talk to you guys about systems tonight, because I know that for me as a type A person, there is a lot going on in our business and there's a lot of different things to keep track of. And so I want to just walk you through basically the systems that are kind of essential for your business and some tips that the way that I do it basically, because you're going to listen to so many different trainings and so many different coaches and so many different calls. And there's going to be different things you hear over and over again. So I do want to say it with the caveat of like, always do what works best for you. But at the same time, if you're new, especially, you're like, okay, there's so much information out there. What exactly do I do? So I'm going to show you exactly what I think you should do, and also give you some minimums depending on like your income goals for a few of the activities. But there's some things that no matter what your income goals are, what you do, like you're just going to be doing these things all the time. First, I was going to share a calendar with you, but I didn't get my act together for that. But as you guys, if you listen to the wake up call, which I have not yet, but bar blend is kind of what is going on. I don't know if anyone did the sample workout. What do you guys think? Who did it? Did you like it? I saw Kelly's video of it. It looked pretty fun. I'm excited to try it. And for me as a runner, and I know a lot of you guys are runners too, I think it'll be a really good program for runners, because the work is definitely not like you should be running a ton of miles and doing the work. It's so hard. I've been running a little bit, but not a ton. So I think the bar blend will be great. And I think so many people are going to love it. So one thing to just keep in mind is that that's available for coaches first, as like they always have been doing lately with the VIP access. So in December, the packages will go on sale first to anyone who's a coach or who enrolls as a coach. So if anyone wants to get early access to some of those workouts, because they're going to release like the first several for you to do early, or just anyone who's wanting to be part, I'm assuming there's a test group usually, or like a group that is with the trainer, and anyone who just wants to get their hands on it soon, you just suggest that they sign up as a discount coach. Remember to explain to them they don't have to actually sell anything, because Shelly's texting me asking about the call. I just signed up a discount coach, and I think I jumped the gun a little too fast with her, because she was was Googling what a Beachbody coach was and was like, oh, I don't want to do that, and quit and like canceled before I got the chance to explain to her that she doesn't have to sell anything. So if you are enrolling someone as a like priority / discount coach, be sure to say you do not have to sell anything in order to be a discount coach. We have plenty of coaches on our team who are just for the discount. So that's going on. I'm going to be hosting 2 separate groups in January, and it's totally up to you whether or not you want to just include your bar blend people in a normal challenge group, which is totally fine. I have a lot of challengers, and I usually with a launch, I have a lot of people come back. And so my groups just get way too big if I do one or the other. And I really like to create that like VIP experience when launches come out and give everyone their own individual, like a separate group. But do not feel like you have to do that at all for your own group, or if you're pairing up with people, because that's a lot of extra work. As you know, if you've been in 2 groups, then like posting in both and checking in both is a lot. So it's totally up to you and what you're feeling with this program. And like with all new launches of programs, like you do not have to do it. I do recommend, I feel like this program in general, like most of us would enjoy and get a benefit out of. Like there's other programs that come out that are like totally in left field and are not like for us. So I haven't done every Beachbody program by any means. And I would recommend at least trying it and getting excitement up for it. And like what I usually do that's worked well in the past is, record myself, which Kelly did. If you want to go look at Kelly Burnham's stories today, you can see exactly what she did. She did a story series of her doing the workout moves and then asked people if they wanted to try the sample workout. And then you can send that to people and then make sure to follow up, because like most people will not be like, I did the sample, loved it, like I want to sign up. Like actually no one does that. So if you give them the sample, make sure that you write their name down and then go ask them, did you do it? And if they didn't do it, say, when are you going to do, like, do you know when you'll have a chance? And then go from there. But that's just another person that you're going to have in contact with. So I'm going to launch into my presentation that I created. So I'm really excited about this one. I hope that I'm trying to break it down to be simple, but it is a lot of, if you're brand new to coaching, it might be a lot of information because I'm going through each like step of coaching. So just remember, the one thing I just want you to remember in general when I'm going through each of these systems is to just think, like, which of these systems that Nicole's talking about do I personally need to grow the most in, and then focus on improving in those. And don't worry about improving in every single one of them now. All right, let me share my screen. All right. Okay. So systems and baselines to help you hit your business goals. I feel like I'm gonna minimize that. Okay. So systems are important. And if any of you guys listen to the Virtual Upline podcast and subscribe to Bob Heilig, he talks all about why systems are so important. They give you confidence that you're making progress to your goals. So like the business activity tracker is a system, for example. It takes the guesswork out of what you need to do every day because you have a system. It streamlines your efforts so you're more efficient. You can track whether or not your efforts are actually paying off. And it gives you confidence that you can actually help other people come onto our business and help them have success, even though you might have just started. So take notes on what I'm going to present to you, and there will be a recording and all of that. But give yourself a rating on like each system as you go through them, and then basically focus on the top 1 to 2 that you can improve on now. And feel free to, I don't know if I can see the chat bar because I'm sharing my, feel free to ask questions like in the chat bar or even like as we go, or we can do questions at the end. So I made this cool picture because I was like, I could make this online or I could just draw it. So this is this little, what are they called? Thing is Beachbody Coaches in the Center. I used to do these when, you know, you'd be like brainstorming your, like what you're going to write. And so each of the 4 bubbles is the vital behaviors. So the vital behaviors are on your business activity tracker. If you didn't realize that, there's 4. Proof the products work is 1. So get results with your products. And then connect, invite, and follow up is number 2. Number 3 is get people results with our challenge groups. And number 4 is to do personal development. So I have each of these coming off, and then basically like the little lines that connect it are all time management, because working with your time and being efficient with it is going to be so important in order for you to do each of these things. And then around the entire thing, you see that I wrote belief and consistency, because none of this matters, and you're not going to do all of these things if you don't believe in the products and you don't believe in what we do and you don't consistently take action. So you have to have those 2 things, and I'll go into it later very briefly, but I really truly believe that personal development is one of the most, I know when I first started, I was like, why is everyone talking about personal development so much? It sounds so crazy, but I really truly believe that listening to the wake up call, doing personal development in the sense of like whatever audiobook calls to you or what you need to work on, but particularly listening to the wake up call and to other coaches who have had success, it really, really helps you get the perspective that your work will pay off, that it does take time, but that anyone, literally anyone can be successful at this. And by listening to the wake up call, you're going to hear so many different stories. And for me, it's just been like time after time, 3.5 years of listening to 3.5 years worth of stories. Not to mention Melanie Mitchell bashing into my head that she had like 70 followers on Facebook when she first joined, and then now she's the top coach in the network. When I think about that, helps me even believe when I bring on a coach who has 0 followers, I'm like, okay, well, Melanie Mitchell did it. Anyone can do it. It's like you have to have, like, having that belief is just so important. So here's the 4 vital behaviors broken out, and then I have systems under each one. So the first behavior where you get results is basically system number 1, do the programs and commit to them. Behavior 2 is get others results. So that's running challenge groups, checking in with your challengers. The next one is personal development. And the last one is the most complex one, which is the part we usually focus on our power hours, which is connect, invite, and follow up, which I want you to have a baseline minimum for your social media posts and stories. And I'm going to share that. And then daily power hour or half hour, and minimum invite and connecting goals for yourself. And then a system for tracking potential clients for follow-ups, and then a system for inviting to coaching. And we have trainings that dig into these things. So I'm going to be kind of going a little bit higher, and then whatever you decide you're going to dig into, I can provide, like, you can look in our Google Drive or find a training that we've done on these. So number 1 is just the most important thing, is to do the programs and commit to them. Don't half-ass them. Like, it's okay. Like, I know for sure in the beginning, I was training for marathons and I wasn't doing the program 100%. And that's fine too, because I was sharing how I was modifying it and how I was working it with my runners, and that attracted runners to me. So I'm not saying that you have to do it start to finish, or I want you to do it start to finish, but I'm saying that it's okay if you need to modify it to fit in with your lifestyle or your goals. But you need to be doing a program. And I think everyone on this call is good at this, but just a reminder, I really recommend doing a transformation photo in your last 9 Instagram photos. And that's because when someone finds you and they go to your page, you're most likely going to look at that. And if you don't have a transformation photo from our particular programs, or maybe you've never really had a big transformation, that's okay too. I still think you can find some way to to show a photo of you before and after. It could be like a pregnancy photo and then now, or if it's like if you're a runner, it could be like a running photo before and now. It doesn't have to be just from Beachbody too. Like Megan joined just a few months ago and she showed like a twin pregnancy photo with what she looks like now and had like incredible feedback from that. I think it's just showing that like the main purpose of it is to show people like you haven't had this all together forever, and that you've also been a work in progress, and like this is the journey. And I know that the transformation photos can sometimes feel uncomfortable. I know for me, I was like so nervous the first time I ever did one. But I always just remind myself that people are always looking at the before picture and imagining themselves in the before picture, not in the after picture. They're more inspired by the after one. So system 2 is running monthly challenge groups. So this is a non-negotiable. You should always have a challenge group. And I highly recommend, first of all, looking ahead at your calendar and putting your challenge group on the schedule, and or talking to your people that you're going to co-host with and planning it in advance. And then remembering that the 2 weeks before you plan your challenge group are the weeks that you're going to be putting the most emphasis on inviting and following up and getting people into that group. And doing more social media posts, more calls to action. You're going to be doing that ideally all the way through the month, but I really like in those 2 weeks before. So when it comes to the logistics of actually scheduling your challenge group posts, I recommend scheduling them in advance, like, all of them in advance if you can, even though I'm not the best example of this because I don't always do this, but it really does take the stress out of it. And with all of these things that I'm giving you, the systems, it's up to you to look at your calendar and say like, okay, what days do I have more time and what days do I have less time? And no matter what, as I'll get to, like the power hour has to happen every day or the half hour. So like, what are the days you have more time and you're able to do your challenge group posts or to, do some of these activities that are like not daily. So I really encourage you to check in daily with your challengers in the app by liking and commenting on the photos. I like every single photo in my challenge groups. And I try to comment if someone writes something like besides just their workout, I really do try to comment and like acknowledge that they gave us something else to talk, like they were proud of themselves, or if they post a picture, I really try to like say, you look great or something, because I want them to know that like, especially if they're posting, because we all know that not everyone posts in the challenge group, even though we want them to, they don't all do that. So I think the more you can encourage people to post, the more likely they are. So even if you're co-hosting, you need to take the time to be checking in. And honestly, I don't sit down and do this when I'm like free from the kids. This is something I'm doing like on the go, or like, you know, they're playing and I'm doing it, or I have a free moment between, like while I'm cooking dinner or something. I don't know. It's like, I personally check in a few times a day. You could decide like, okay, I'm going to check in the morning and the evening, but it's really important to be checking into your group. And I don't know if everyone knows this, but like once you're an admin in a challenge group, you can reschedule posts that anyone from a previous challenge group that you've also been an admin in has posted. So like, say you and I we're hosting right now, and then next month you go out on your own, or next month you go out and co-host with 2 other people besides me. You could take all the posts that I wrote and reschedule them in your thing, and just pretend like you're the one that wrote it. So I would recommend like at least editing it to like sound like you, like if I use slang that you don't use, or but of course you can always, like, I do recommend adding your own spin to some posts, but like don't recreate the wheel. We have a system here. We have the guides on the drive, and I personally try to like add in some new things each month, but like it's okay if it's like similar content at times throughout the group. Like don't stress out too much about like you have to create these amazing original posts every single day, because not everyone's going to read it, and sometimes people just need the reminder either way. So the third system is just checking in with those challengers. Like I said, checking the app in the app, and then outside of the app, make sure the day before the group, you're checking into your app and you're resending any invites to people who haven't accepted. And if you don't have a lot of people in your group, if they haven't accepted your invite, be sure to send them a message and say, I'm not sure if you saw the invite. Some people might get confused about how to actually get into the group, because I notice when I co-host with a lot of newer coaches, I do see a lot of people who never even accept, like their people never accept the invite. So I wanted to make sure you guys know to like, they might not understand the process or like where they're supposed to check in. Just make sure that you're checking in with them and saying, hey, it's in the My Challenge Tracker app, and you know, so that they get in the group in the first place. So then within the first week, I like to do a one-on-one email, or it depends on where we originally communicating, or Instagram or text to any new challengers. I don't check in like super frequently with recurring challengers who've just been going forever and ever. I honestly just don't have time. So that's how I do it. If you want to check in more, that's fine. But honestly, once people are in for a while and they're enjoying it, I do check in on occasion, but I'm not going to be checking in with them like every week. So a way to make the check-in system faster, especially once you get more challengers, is I use Google Streak, which there's this thing where you can do, it's called snippets. And so I think they're called snippets. You can create just like, it says challenge group week 1 check-in. And I just literally go to the challenger, or I go draft an email, and then I go to my Google Streak and I select week 1 check-in and I paste it in. But then I will customize it a little. I'll say their name, and then I'll say, sometimes I'll be like, great job getting in 6 workouts this week and 4 shakes. How are you liking this? You know, I usually ask how they're liking the shakes, because I want to spark a conversation. If they say, I love the shakes, and then the next time I can say, do you want to be a discount coach, or do you want to be a coach? So I definitely ask about Shakeology if they bought a challenge pack. So also, I'll mention this again later, but like using your notes and your Instagram quick replies. If you're a business account on Instagram, which I highly recommend because of the quick replies, you can create these basically quick replies. So you could create a week 1 check-in quick reply so that you could check into your Instagram people. I use it more for like invites, like explaining what a challenge group is and all of that. But don't recreate the wheel. If you're finding yourself typing out or like texting the exact same information over and over again, you can't be doing that, because that's a waste of time that you could be doing something else. And so remember, in terms of, so then my next thing is on week 2 or 3, depending on when the info session is for coaching, I check in again and I invite them to coaching or to Save on Shakeology. I'm in the mindset of I almost always invite people to at least go to the info session, and I always invite to coaching right off. I'm trying to build a team. Whereas if you're newer, no, I think everyone should invite people to coaching, because you never know who this could benefit, and you never want to like assume that someone wouldn't want to be a coach. So I recommend always inviting them to coaching and say, I don't know if it's something that you would consider, but I know you're obviously loving the program and having great results. Have you ever considered doing what I do, sharing this with others, and becoming a coach? If not, at the very least, you can save do you want to save $30 on your next bag of shakes? Something simple like that. We have examples of this in the Google Drive. Does anyone have any questions on these ones? Okay. So personal development, I'm adding it as a system, even though just because it was in the vital behaviors. But for me, this has become like a habit to just always be listening to personal development when I'm on the go, when I'm putting my makeup on, or if I'm in the car, when I'm running. I mean, I need to give my brain a break. Sometimes I don't always listening to it, but I think that, like I said, just instilling the belief that you can do it, and like hearing people's stories over and over again, and then getting those little tips that just make you better over time. And like, when you do listen to like the wake up call and all of these things, like I said, you're going to hear a lot of different ways of doing things. You just have to you have to decide what works for you. But I think regardless, it's just good to always listen to them. And I always tell you guys, I love the Women Inspiring Women podcast by Melanie Mitchell, the top coach. She's just has great information. She's really good at delivering it. But like, don't just read like a personal development book just because you feel like you have to, or like because someone said you should. Like, if you start reading a personal development book and you're like, this is not speaking to me, like, stop reading it. Don't waste your time. But there's certain books that you'll really get into. And I've discovered that like, I only like audiobooks for personal development. I just can't get myself to sit down and read it, because I don't want to read it before bed. I want to read like a novel and like kind of get out of my head, not be in it in personal development. So if like, you'll hear a lot of people talking about like the great book is like The Compound Effect or the Slight Edge. And those are books I would definitely recommend listening to. I also have in the Google Drive some suggested PD. So like, if you say you're like wanting to build a team right now, or you're trying to grow, like focus your personal development on team building. And if you're like, I have no idea what's going on with social media, go to Women Inspiring Women. And she has so many, like, she probably has like 6 podcasts on social media. Like, I need help with like time management. She's really good at that too. Like, don't just listen to listen, like think, like, we all are really busy, so you can't listen to everything. My kids. Okay. So number 5, now we're getting into the connecting the base, or the connect and invite and follow up. So this is using your business activity tracker. So your business activity tracker is just something that I recommend everyone use. And so within that, these are the systems that I think are the most important. So showing up on social media is the one of the most important things in your business, because it shows that, like Kelly said, if you listen to her call today, you're open for business if you're showing up on social media. So I recommend, like, things have changed a lot in social media in the last year. I honestly I'm at the point now where I don't even post 5 a week. I probably post 4. But because as long as you're showing up on your stories, your main feed doesn't have to be every single day by any means. When I first started, people wanted you to post 3 to 5 times on your main feed. It was like crazy because there was no stories. And I still didn't do that. So I've had a successful business not posting the max that people say, but I do think that you need to post at least 3 times a week. So here, like, I have this in the Google Drive too, but I just wanted to show you how simple it can be. Is like, Monday, tell a story with an invite to a challenge group or coaching. Wednesday, add value, share a recipe, a tip. Like, this can be anything, like, not even related to Beachbody at all. Like, this is what my twins' sleep schedule is, or this is a running tip, or this is how I'm hosting Thanksgiving and how I'm getting organized. If anything, maybe it should not be a fitness stuff. And then, like I said, Friday, Saturday, lifestyle post. But this is pretty simple. And if you commit yourself to doing this, like, one of the things I just really want to emphasize on this is, like, if you want to move your business forward, you got to set those baseline minimums for yourself And you need to say to yourself, like, I will never post less than 3 posts a week. And if you need to sit down, like I said, if you have a day that you have more time, post, like plan those posts in advance, maybe even like, especially like the add value one, write that out in advance and then plan to schedule it later. But you need to be showing up there because, like I said, that's your storefront. If someone goes to follow you and you've been taking all this action to like follow them, and then they go to your page and they're like, she hasn't even posted in 2 weeks. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't show you as very professional if you're not showing up in that way. And then at the same time, if you're like excited to do it, you need to do a challenge group invite, but then you haven't posted in 2 weeks. And the last thing you posted was a challenge group invite, then that's kind of awkward because now all you're doing is posting about challenge groups. So you need to be doing those like lifestyle ones in between. Okay, so system number 6, which is by far is one of the most important ones as well, is the power hour or half hour. And so when I say power hour, to me, that means that you are working on section 2 of the business activity tracker and not the social media part. You're doing initiating your connections with followers. You are initiating connections and adding followers, which to me, honestly, lately I've been doing the follow only method where I just go and start following people that have stories, and I'm not even going to their profile anymore because you just have to figure out which way works for you. But that's what I've been doing, is basically finding. So I just did a twin post. So I went to a twin mom who has like a lot of likes, went to her last post, went to who liked it. It gives me a long list. Everyone who had a circle around, which means that they're a public account and that they are active on social media. I followed basically all of them at once, like 25 people at once. You don't want to do too many actions at once. That's basically all I'm doing. It takes me literally 5 minutes. So I've been doing that every day, and I've actually been growing. For a while, I was actually declining because people were unfollowing me, and I know they're clearing up some fake accounts and stuff on Instagram. So you might notice that you're going down, but that only works if you have good content for them to go back to your page and say, oh, I like what she's putting out there. I like her pictures. I see that her profile is similar to me, then I will follow you back. That's what I've been doing. So when you do your power hour, so pick your prime brain power time. So for me, that is like literally the earliest in the day I can get besides 5 a.m. So if I drop the kids in the child watch at the Y, it's like literally the first thing I do is the power hour. If today I have a babysitter that comes, first thing I do is the power hour. Some days it's nap time because that's the first time I have all day is like 1 o'clock for that. We do have our team power hours that are at night. And usually that's like a bonus for me. So don't look at your DMs. I know this is hard that you're like, oh, I have DM, people are messaging me. Don't look at DMs when you first go to do your power hour. Don't go to Facebook team page. Do not scroll. Don't go to your challenge group. Just literally do the first thing. Initiate connections, add followers. Like I said, it took me like 5 minutes to add 25 people. Step 2, if you have to set a timer, respond to the comments on your most recent post and then go to who liked it and just give that person some love, comment on some of their posts. Not every person that liked your photo, but some. Start some new conversations. If you are new to, also what I'll do is I'll go to a recent post, and I will either start a conversation with each person that's like newer. If it's like you guys, I'm not going to do that, but, or I'll invite them. So I kind of like go through and alternate. But this is the time, like if it's just 30 minutes even, like just to do the things that are going to move your business forward, check them off the list. And then you're like, 30 minutes is done. Whereas you could have sat there and scrolled. I can't even tell you how long I can scroll. And you wouldn't get anything done. So I think that's the most important thing, is just to like do it first, set the timer. And I also really recommend doing it as soon in the day as you can, because then when the messages come back, hopefully people are responding to what you're putting out there to them or the conversations. And not everyone will, by any means. Not everyone responds to me, but at least you have some time later in the day to get back to it. So you're not like doing all this last minute at night and then waking up in the morning being like, oh my gosh, now I have to answer all these people. And a lot of the conversations most of the conversations I start have nothing to do with Beachbody. So I'm like responding to people's stories, or like lately, if I have like a private, someone who's following my story, watching my stories who's like a private account, I will just send them a message and say, hey, thanks for following along. I would love to get to know you better. And then sometimes I'm getting like really big paragraphs of people responding with like why they followed me and whatnot. And so obviously depending on where you're at in your business, your power is going to look a little different. So for me, I do have more people watching my stories, but if you aren't having a lot of people watching your stories yet, you need to start spending more time re-engaging with your existing followers. So say you have 300 followers and then only 30 watch your stories. Start going to your follower list and searching go through all the A's and start conversations with those people, or at least comment on one of their recent photos or like their photos to let the Instagram algorithm know that you guys are connected and they should start showing your social media. So again, that quick replies on Instagram, if you're a business account, is also really great for this. So like, even if I do like I'll ask for advice on a story and a lot of people will respond with like the same thing. Sometimes I'll make a quick reply so I can be like, yeah, me too. Or like on like the Game of Thrones finale, I remember I got so many people messaging me because of something I wrote, and I was like, literally caught me like just using a quick reply to respond to everyone the same thing. So those quick replies will be good, especially when you're having conversations about invites and challenge groups, like I said. So you could say like a little summary of what a challenge group is. So one thing I've recently done is Kim Delima and I are now telling each other every day what time we're going to do our power hour and how many people we're going to invite to keep each other accountable. And then we tell each other when we're done. So if you don't have an accountability partner and you need some ideas for who you think would be a good match for you, let me know, because I can help pair you up with someone else. But it really does help to have that person like checking in on you and knowing your goals. So in terms of like the minimums that I was suggesting so if you're a hobby coach and you want to earn like around 200 to 300, these are rough estimates. You need to have about 3 customers a month. So either way, if you're a hobby or a business builder and you want to be consistently earning an income, I recommend that you set a goal of Success Club, which is 3 new challenge packs per month. Either way, that's going to get you, if you're hobby or business builder, that should be your minimum. Like, you need to figure out like how many invites and how much that, you might miss it sometimes, but no matter what, that's like the goal that's going to keep you going forward. And then if you want more, like my goal is always Success Club 10, but 20 is really what I'm aiming for most months. And I want to increase that next month to keep myself going and pushed. But I recommend at least a 30-minute power hour a day doing the activities I just talked about, and 3 invites a day. If you miss it, then make it up the next day. And then if you're a business builder, which you want to make like $500 a month up to like $10,000 a month or more, with time, obviously, you want to have at least 5 new customers sign up with you a month. So that's Success Club 10. 3 to 5 recurring customers having sales a month, and then 2 to 5 new coaches a month. I used to have a goal of 2 new coaches a month, and then I increased it to 5. And I know that sounds like a lot for you that you aren't recruiting coaches now, but like telling you these things that like, this is what I'm setting for myself to earn the goal of like 10,000 a month in the future. And that's what it basically is going to take in order to, because people are going to quit, people are going to go inactive. So you have to be continually having those conversations. And I know that I remember when I first heard, it was like 5 new coaches a month. Oh my gosh, I could never do it. And now I'm like, okay, I did 7, I had 7 people sign up for coaching this month. It's going to take time to get there, but you can get there. So this would be at least that power hour a day, 1 hour a day, and 5 to 10 invites a day. Shoot, I'm gonna get cut off. So everyone is gonna have to go log back on to the same link. Damn it, I should have upgraded. Okay, so just log back on when we get cut off and go to the same link. And we'll just I think the same link will work. It says less than a minute.
The same link will work.
It'll work. What if I just log off and get back?
I think we all have to.
Okay, sorry guys.
Go off.
I'm almost done. Time flies when you're talking. Okay, well, I'm just gonna Should we just all log off now? It says less than a minute. I feel like it said that for a long time. I don't have my wallet up here. Otherwise I would just upgrade because I'm planning to.
I think you have to log off though, since you're recording it. Since
Okay.
it's your.
Okay, I'm gonna log off and then we'll all get back. Meeting. Not working. I think it's giving me more time because you guys logged on before me, but it's fine. I didn't get to see your questions in the chat, so you have to re-ask me.
I think they just asked like what book it was. It was like the Slight Edge.
Okay, okay, and